What's going on, my bulls? Got some good stuff to look at today. Morgan Stanley gets some action going with Bitcoin. Formula One. Crypto gets involved in Formula One. And Bitcoin looking good and ETF race hopping up. Let's start with the Bitcoin chart. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. Super supports the channel. Thank you in advance. So here's the 24-hour Bitcoin chart, right? Here it is at 34,034. Looks like it got down to a low of about 34,166, and it's just been kind of chugging up. It looks like it's hit a little bit more of a, I don't want to call it a plateau, but it's certainly kind of evened out. Let's look at it over 7 days. All right, so it looks like the high over the last 7 days was about, well, it says 35, but we know we're sitting in 36 right now, so that's the high, 36.3. So we're at our high for the last week, and as you see here, over the weekend, it got down to a low of about just over 30,000, and it's just been chugging. There it goes, going up, and then a nice bump, nice little plateau, and then a bump, and going sideways there a bit, and then climbing up again, and now we got another sideways. So we've had a rise, a big rise, and then a sideways, a rise, and then a sideways, and then a rise, and now we're on a sideways. So, to me, I'm not going to draw a bunch of lines here for technical analysis, etc. This just looks really bullish. It really does. I actually think we may be going up here for a minute. That's just how I really feel. When I look at it, that's just what it feels like to me. And if we look at these candles, I mean, this is over the course of, what are we looking at here? Let's spread this out. Okay. We've been riding sideways for over a month, and now these nice long green candles going on. This is really interesting. I mean, we were down here at 33, worked our way up to about 40. This is when the El Salvador stuff happened. But then the FUD came along and moved it. And now I feel like a lot of this, especially these really long candles you see, these ones too, I feel like these were a lot of institution manipulation. Because they'll come in here and they'll just do these big sells and push the price down so that they can really just buy more. And they'll do that for an extended period of time. But when they let off that pushing down, it's like holding a bobber underwater. Once they actually let go, pop. And this just feels like early signs to me of going up. Like, I kind of expect this to continue. I think that before you know it, maybe even by the end of the week, we're to 40 plus. Could I be wrong? Of course I could be wrong. That's just how I feel. Let's dive into the first piece of news. By the way, if you'd like to, I'm a hodler. I don't sell anything. I hold my Bitcoin. I hold my Ethereum. And instead of just letting them sit in my wallet, which, they go up and down, but if I put them on Voyager, I actually get interest holding it there. I get over 5% on my Ethereum and over 6% on my Bitcoin. And there's interest on many other coins too, including 9% on USDC coin. That's crazy. So I have a lot of my just straight cash just sitting in USDC, because why would I have my cash in my bank just going down in value, earning no interest, just going down in value because of inflation and debasement? And I'll switch it over to a stable coin and earn 9% interest. Anyway, so I'll put a link for Voyager in the description. Plus, you'll get $25 in free Bitcoin too when you put in at least $100. But here we go. Morgan Stanley has bought over 28,000 shares of Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. If you don't know what that is, Grayscale Bitcoin Trust is exactly what it sounds like. It's a trust. It's a product, a source that was invented by Grayscale that includes a lot of Bitcoin. It's not just Bitcoin, from what I understand. I haven't looked at the holdings here in a minute, but it allows these bigger institutions to get in because they can't really directly, because of the SEC and all the different regulations with these big institutions, they can't really directly buy Bitcoin. So this is a way around for them to do it. So Morgan Stanley bought over 28,000 shares. I'm not sure what a share of Grayscale is going for. It's not cheap. But they bought 28,289 shares through its Europe Opportunity Fund. Now, in April, the firm allowed a handful of its funds, which they have a bunch of them, to invest indirectly. See, they can't really invest directly in crypto yet. which is huge, which is another reason I'm so dang bullish on crypto, because the big piles of money that are out there can't actually directly even buy the stuff yet, so they keep indirectly playing around with it. Wait till they can just go all in on it. Watch out what the price is going to do. It's going to go bananas. Anyways, indirectly in Bitcoin through cash-settled future contracts and Grayscale's Bitcoin Trust, including the Institutional Fund, the Institutional Fund Trust, Insight Fund, and Variable Insurance Fund. These are four of their funds that they are indirectly getting involved in Bitcoin. So these don't affect the Bitcoin prices nearly as much as just buying and selling Bitcoin directly would do. So each fund may invest. So the manipulation I'm talking about, those are the smaller piles of money that are really big to you and me, but compared to what's really out there, they're still just minnows in a pond of whales. The Europe Opportunity Fund includes a mix of European-based companies in the technology and non-technology space and other investments. So that's interesting. It invests up to 25% of its assets in Bitcoin. So I thought that was really, really interesting, because Morgan Stanley getting involved in Grayscale, getting involved in Bitcoin indirectly as much as they can, and that's a decent amount of shares. I don't know how much a share of Grayscale goes for. Let's look that up real quick. Grayscale Trust share price. $31. I feel like I thought it was going to be a lot more than that. So Morgan Stanley bought 28,000 shares. That's really not that much to them at all. That's not even, it's like $1 million. I swear I thought it was so much more than $31. Whatever. On to the next. Formula One strikes a $100 million cryptocurrency sponsorship. This comes from crypto.com. So now they have a presence in Formula One, and they got a 5-year deal. So their news, that's a big deal. Formula One, I know if you're in America, which I am, Formula One's not such a big thing here, but Formula One is the most, how do I say, elite sporting event series thing in the world. And it's like the number 2 most popular sport thing in the world after soccer. So it's a big deal to be involved in this. It really gives exposure to a huge group of people on a regular basis, including your very higher net worth individuals and institutions. That's all I got to say about that. So they get brand presence around the F1 events, including the Sprint Series. I'm not a big F1 guy. I don't know a ton about it, but I know that this is really bullish for Bitcoin. That is 100,000%, because now, we have FTX Stadium that's going to be in Miami for the Miami Heat, the basketball team, to play in. We have Crypto.com getting involved in F1. There's going to be other sponsorships, in football and baseball and soccer, and it's just going to keep growing. You can just see how crypto and Bitcoin and everything crypto really is just growing and growing, and it just can't be stopped. And what's really nice about it too is overall it's pretty welcomed, other than by China. And I am so thrilled. I am so bullish that the miners are moving out of China, because China is a bad place to be for crypto people. They're hostile. Why be there? Go be somewhere else. Now, I don't know why China's exactly doing that. China has its own interests. There's more to it than whatever they're saying. I don't know what exactly China's reasoning is, and I don't care. I'm so glad the miners are moving out of China. Not that that's part of this article, but that's the truth. By the way, F1 is owned by Liberty Media Corporation. The entire racing entity is worth about $4.4 billion. Pretty good stuff. On to the next thing. This is a shorter one, but Bitcoin price, like we looked at, goes above 35,000. It's above 36,000 now, and the ETF race heats up. So Kathy Wood, also from ARK Invest, big into Bitcoin. They file for a Bitcoin ETF at the SEC. They're not exactly the first one to do that. None have been approved. I think it'll be a while before we see an ETF ever get approved for Bitcoin. But when that happens, watch out. And I don't recommend, I can only speak for myself, not financial advice. I will never be investing in an ETF, because you don't own anything other than a share in an ETF. You don't own any Bitcoin. you don't own any Ethereum. You don't own any of it in the ETF. They're just these permissioned entities that hold Bitcoin, but you don't actually own any Bitcoin or Ethereum or anything. So I will not be buying Grayscale Trust. I will not be buying ETFs of this stuff. I am only buying Bitcoin and Ethereum and Cardano, probably Chainlink, probably vechain, probably Binance Coin. Those are the main ones that I'm in. Bitcoin being dominant at the top, Ethereum being a very clear second, and then Cardano being a pretty clear third. That's where I'm currently at. But she's trying to start an ETF. Go figure, because it's a good way for them. I mean, of course, you can have an ETF. Lots of people are just going to throw money at you. Big institutions, because they are allowed to invest in that stuff. And again, you don't directly own it. But these institutions, they have different goals and activities. They're much more active than probably you or I. So here's the 24-hour chart like we looked at. They're just showing it. Doesn't that just look nice? And plus what's going on, like there's not any major FUD going on. Because all the major FUD, like the miners have kicked out of China, the climate issue, like what else could go on FUD-wise? Like the media has really been trying to push that price down. And I think they've thrown out all their tricks and efforts and selling low, all this stuff. And I think that they're finally, like, I think we've hit the low, because I think 30,000 was the standoff ground. And I think that they're holding that bobber underground and kind of letting it float. And I think that we are on our way up. That's what I think. As it says, the FCA banning Binance, all that stuff. Looks like investors shrugged that off, because I think that was all just kind of FUD too. I mean, yeah, it's not great, but here's something. ICAP said it will launch a cryptocurrency trading platform with Fidelity and Standard Chartered for institutional investors. So the attempted onboarding of institutional investors continues. And that is so damn bullish. I can't even explain. It's hard for me to explain how bullish of a activity all this is. And it will include spot crypto trading and access to custody solutions provided by Fidelity and Zodia, Financial News reported. Fidelity being a big, traditional financial firm, stuff like that, kind of like a Morgan Stanley. They are certainly old school. And it's just, there's so many bullish things going on. I think that because to me, it's been a massive attempt by institutions and big money to push down the price of Bitcoin in the crypto market. But if you push down Bitcoin, you push down the rest of the market, really. And I think that they're finally letting off. And I think that we're going to see these prices go up. And the charts right now they look different to me. We've seen them go up. Even when El Salvador was going on, I was like, yeah, that's going to drive it up a bit. And it did. It put it over 40,000. Let's go back to this chart real quick. It put it over 40,000. That's this big rise back here. The El Salvador news. No, that was way back there. This is the El Salvador news. Put it over 40,000, and then the push down happened. Because that was just such overwhelmingly good news. And then the push down. And I just feel these long candles, it just seems like manipulation to me at its classic. And here's a way up, push down, one big candle. Up, little red, up. And I think this is going to keep going. And I think it's possible by the end of the week, we're north of 40. Like, that's the kind of trajectory I just feel like we're on. Could I be wrong? Of course. But I'm just saying, like, I literally bought some Bitcoin and Ethereum today as I see this trend going on for over 24 hours, really. Because it really started, I don't know what time this is at here, but over the weekend, and now it's Tuesday, I've been watching it just go. I saw it kind of hit a bottom, and then here it is just climbing up, and it's went past this threshold of 34, 35. Now it's at 36. And it's holding pretty steady there. The next spot is, honestly, when we're at 36, maybe 37, 38, 39, 40. 40 is going to be the hardest one, but I think it's going to be easy to climb 37 and 38. 39 is going to get a little more dicey, maybe see a little dip. But I think we're going to go over 40, and I think 42 by this time next week doesn't seem crazy to me. I really think we're on a fast run up. But that's my opinion, not financial advice. Hope you enjoyed this video. Some really good links in the description. Check them out. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. I appreciate you watching. You're awesome. Stay bullish.